Thank you all for being here today. We are going to provide an update to one of our most recent officer-involved shootings. This is the shooting that occurred on April 20th of this year, 2025, in the 3300 block of Arterburn Avenue. Again, anything I say is preliminary right now. We do need to recognize that this is in very early stages of this investigation. This happened a little over a week ago, so there's still plenty of interviews to be done, a lot of evidence to still come through, so anything that is released today is still preliminary in nature. If you recall, around 12:30 p.m. on April 20th, officers responded to a call for service in the 3300 block of Arterburn Avenue on a report of a male who was yelling, he was possibly intoxicated, and breaking out apartment windows. When they arrived, they encountered the male and began to speak with him. They recognized immediately that he had a knife, and they told him, "Do not reach for the knife." Officers continued to engage in conversation with the gentleman, and he approached them on foot. As they tried to detain him, at this time, the subject resisted. He was taken to the ground by officers where the knife fell out of his pocket. Once on the ground, and you'll see in body-worn camera video, the subject reaches for the knife. He begins to attempt to stab one of the officers 2 times in the vest. The knife does make contact with the officer's vest. The other officer attempts to deploy his taser, which is ineffective. At that time, that same officer discharges his handgun, striking the subject in the head. Both officers render aid immediately. EMS responds. He is transported to the University of Louisville Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased. Before we get any further, I do want to acknowledge that incidents like this, especially those that result in the death of another human being, have a significant impact on everyone that is involved. Officers, it takes an extreme emotional toll on them. They are making split-second decisions in very tense, rapidly unfolding situations that are violent and volatile in nature. And then we are left with a family who is grieving a devastating loss of a loved one. And, no officer wants to ever use force, let alone deadly force. That is a very life-altering and emotional event for officers. And then, no mother could ever prepare for the grief of losing a son or daughter, especially in circumstances like this. So incidents like this do have a very significant impact on the people that are involved, as well as our community. And that's why it's so important that we as a police agency are transparent in what happened. We are communicating to the public what happened, how we respond to runs, and how we make decisions. And that's what we are trying to accomplish today. This slide is repetitive. You all have probably seen this slide before. We show it before our officer-involved shooting videos. We've done this for several years, but we want people to understand what our safety priorities are, and how officers are making decisions, how officers are trained to make decisions. This is not only repetitive for you all, this is repetitive within our agency. This is constantly reiterated through roll call training, through just regular in-service training, and through conversations that officers have with each other on how to make decisions in the field. So we are going to assess who is in the most danger, who's in the most imminent danger, and who can control the situation. So that will progress through this progression here, as far as victims have the least amount of control over the situation, and then uninvolved citizens that might be in the area, and then officers, and then ultimately the subject or the suspect at hand would have the most control in making a decision to comply with officers. So that is our safety priorities. That is how we make decisions. And then this is another repetitive slide that is also repetitive in our agency, but these are the Graham factors. And if you recall, so Graham v. Connor is a United States Supreme Court case that established criteria for assessing objective reasonableness for any police use of force in the United States. And so the court is going to look at the severity of the crime at hand, the immediacy of the threat, so what is the threat posed, and then the resistance level that the subject is offering to the officers, and if there's a potential for flight. So these are all the factors that the court is going to look at when assessing the reasonableness of force, and that's what we use to also assess the reasonableness of force when it comes to policy. Just a reminder of how our body-worn cameras work. So there is a 30-second buffer prior to the activation that will not include audio when an officer activates their body-worn camera video. And there's multiple ways that officers' body-worn camera videos are activated. So officers can activate their body-worn camera video, and I'll step off to the side, by manually pressing the center button on their camera. The officer's body-worn camera video can also be activated through lights and sirens. So if an officer's vehicle, if they turn their lights and sirens on, not only do their body cameras activate, but any officer in the close proximity to that vehicle, their cameras will also turn on as well. Cameras are also activated when an officer draws his or her firearm. And it's not just theirs, it's any camera in close proximity, as well as the taser. So the taser activates cameras as well. So there's multiple ways that an officer's camera will become activated. And also, cameras are attached to our uniforms via a magnet. I'll step off to the side again. But the camera is attached, it's a strong magnet, but you can remove the camera. And we need to remove it to charge the camera, download the camera, to wash your uniform. So the camera can come off. And I say that because you'll see in one of these videos, one of the officer's camera does become dislodged from his uniform during the interaction, the close physical interaction with the suspect here. So, this is the officer that discharged his taser and his firearm. This is Officer Benjamin Klingenfuss. Officer Klingenfuss has 19 years of service with LMPD. He is assigned to our 5th Division Patrol. Officer Klingenfuss is probably one of the most seasoned beat officers on LMPD right now. He has rode and been assigned to the 5th Division for his entire career, which is very rare in policing. We move around a lot to different divisions and different jobs, but Ben is a beat officer at heart. He has responded to probably over his career 40 to 50,000 calls for service, 40 or 50,000 911 calls. And so this call for service that you will hear today, he's probably responded to similar calls for service numerous times, thousands of times probably. And so he's very experienced in what he does. This is Officer Cody Chappell. He has 27 years of experience with LMPD. He has 34 years of law enforcement experience total. He worked for a prior agency, but I will note that Officer Chappell retired from LMPD a few years ago as a sergeant and is a retired rehire for us. So he came back to work and he rides the beat in the 5th Division. He is the officer that was stabbed in the vest during this incident. The suspect involved is Atumi McCollum. He is a 36-year-old black male. He lived in the Arterburn Crossing complex, which is the apartment complex that you'll see in this video. So this is an overview of the scene. The red circle is where the officer-involved shooting ultimately took place. I'm going to go through a few more slides after this. You're going to hear an initial 911 call. So the initial 911 call came from the adjacent neighborhood. So some of the houses that are around the apartment complex, one of the residents overheard a man yelling and being belligerent in the parking lot, and that prompted that first 911 call. So that's the 911 call that's going to get officers dispatched. So you'll hear that. And then we'll show some surveillance video from one of the neighboring apartments where the Mr. McCollum committed a home invasion during this incident. And then you'll hear a second 911 call that was prompted from that home invasion. So I'm going to go through those, and then we'll get to the body-worn camera video.
911, Operator Atwell, where is your emergency?
The Arterburn Crossing.
I'm sorry, what's the address?
So Arterburn, Arterburn Avenue.
Okay, 3301 Arterburn Avenue. What's the apartment number?
There's no specific apartment number. It's just coming generally from the complex over there. I don't live over that way.
Okay, what's happening?
I live right next to there. There's a guy who's just out there. He's been yelling at houses long for the last half hour at somebody who's in an apartment in there. And he seems like really angry and violent, and it's extremely loud, and we're over here. We can hear it from our house, and he's been there for a while now, so I didn't know if maybe like a patrol could go over there and just check on the situation and see what's happening.
Yeah, were you able to tell what he looked like?
I could see through the tree that he was African American, and that's all. I couldn't see any more details of what he looked like other than that.
Does it sound like he's drunk or on drugs?
Possibly on drugs. He seemed like extremely angry and loud, and he's frantically saying things over and over and over again, and he just seems totally unstable, extremely unstable.
Okay. And then did you see any weapons, hear any go off?
I did not hear any weapons go off, but it wouldn't have surprised me with how angry he sounded.
Right. Okay, we'll get officers out there as fast as we can.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Okay, and so immediately after that, the officers are dispatched. This is that audio.
Radio 515, I'm 515 Baker. Sorry, man. 15 Baker's off record. On Trumbull, Arterburn Avenue. Neighbor drives out a male outside yelling at someone in the apartment. Black male, possibly intoxicated, no other description. 15 Baker's right. So it's you.
Okay. The last thing you heard that the dispatcher say is 12:28. So 12:28 is the time that the officers were dispatched to this run. And that is significant because in this video here, so this is what referenced a home invasion at a neighboring apartment. If you look in the top left-hand corner, it says 12:28. So as officers are getting dispatched, this is happening simultaneously. So you'll hear a door that is kicked open. So this is the front door of the apartment that is kicked open by Mr. McCollum. You'll see him enter this apartment. You'll see a female who comes out to this doorway in this hallway. It's herself, and she has a 5-year-old child in this apartment. So she's going to tell her 5-year-old to go into the bedroom, and she's trying to plead with her neighbor to not do whatever he is doing. So this is that video.
What are you doing?
Yeah, you know, that's your daughter, man. That's fucking sad. Yeah, I need to fucking nice in there.
What? I mean, please do not do this. Please, come here. Look, please, what are you doing?
So he stole it was about a 5-inch blade kitchen knife from her kitchen and exited that apartment. Now, just keep in mind, officers are en route, still coming, and as this is happening, and so they're getting on scene now. You're now going to hear a second 911 call that is prompted after this home invasion occurs.
911, Operator Green, where's your emergency?
Yes, ma'am. Somebody just tried to break in my condo. There's a neighbor upstairs.
What's your address?
Hurry.
What's your address, ma'am?
Arterburn, please hurry.
What's the name of the street?
Arterburn, please hurry.
Okay. Tell me exactly what happened, ma'am.
What?
Tell me exactly what happened.
He just broke out my window.
Okay. I already got a call for service of who broke out your window.
He just broke out hers too.
Okay, I already got a who is he, ma'am?
Our neighbor, please hurry. Yes. We need to be in here.
Okay, which apartment are you in?
Hold on 1 second, ma'am. What?
What apartment number are you in?
In our doors. Please hurry.
I already got it up for dispatch, ma'am. What's his name?
Assume McCollum.
Huh?
Assume McCollum.
White, black, Hispanic?
Oh, the police are already here.
They're there?
Yes.
Okay. What's your name?
What? Where? Are they leaving?
No, they're not, ma'am. What's your name? I'll let officers know you're Okay.
He's in my apartment. He broke out my window.
Where are you?
I'm upstairs and
He's in your apartment right now?
yes, and he broke out her door too.
Okay. I got it up
He
for
told him to get out of the car and hurry.
So I got it up for dispatch. I told him that he is in apartment. Is that correct?
He's down on the floor. He broke out my first floor window.
Okay, I heard that, ma'am. Is he inside your apartment physically?
I don't know. I'm upstairs.
Okay, ma'am, you just told me he was inside your apartment. I'm trying to get the information straight for the officers.
He's running around pushing him on my window, pushing my bed out of the way.
Okay. Do you know what he's wearing?
Black pants, black shirt.
Okay, well, the officers are already there, ma'am, so they're probably checking the area.
No, they're out in the parking lot on the right. Come to the left by the black Mercedes.
Okay. I'm updating them now, so we got an address of Audubon Avenue.
Is our number. Trust me.
Okay, I'm gonna get them to come to you guys,
There
okay?
he is. There he is.
I'm gonna get the
taking stuff out of my apartment.
Okay, I'm gonna get the officer to come speak to you. You're in apartment right now?
He's taking his head at them. Hold on, I can't go down there right now. He's getting ready to run from them.
I'm trying to get officers to come to you, ma'am.
Earlier.
Okay, I'm gonna disconnect you. The officers are there, okay?
Okay, babe, sorry. Bye.
Okay, so you hear from that 911 call that it sounds like the officers have located the subject and they're about to make contact. This body cam video is Officer Klingenfuss. So this is the initial contact with the subject. You're going to hear his radio playing, and so you'll hear information being relayed to Officer Klingenfuss from that 911 call. So that's when they're getting this. They're getting what she just called in on 911 as they're approaching this subject. So just to give you an idea of how fast things like this happen and how quickly officers are getting information or receiving information, how things change very quickly.
Hey, other 559 Baker. The original caller says that he, as a neighbor, hasn't seen anything since. We did just get another caller, says the resident of the home advised the neighbor
okay?
out her window.
What are you driving there?
Apartment 335.
Put
Correction,
that down.
3359.
Put that down.
42 there.
Put that down. What do you got there? What's going on today?
Right, okay, send any picture now?
What's the matter? What's the matter? Huh? Well, talk to us for a second.
Have you around? Okay, hold on.
What's going on?
You got your pocket there.
Nothing at all.
Looks like a knife.
It is.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, you reach for that knife, I'm gonna shoot you. You understand that? You understand what I'm saying?
can't arrest me. You Mason?
I'm not
You
arresting you,
Mason?
I'm just telling
Are
you,
you
reach for
Mason?
that knife, I'm gonna shoot you.
Are you Mason?
You understand that?
Or are you Mason?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you
Are you?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
I'm hot to me, so it don't
So, what's going on with you?
Nothing. She like that all the time.
So what's going on with you?
All right, we're gonna cancel the house 12:31.
No?
Stop right there. Stop.
You need to talk to you to find out what's going on. Go ahead and touch me.
Apartment 295 Baker, do you want me?
Put your hands behind your back.
Oh.
Put your hands behind your back.
No.
Put your hands behind your back.
Okay.
So that's the knife. It's blade up.
Remind me back.
That's the taser noise, and that is the gunshot. You see his body camera has dislodged during that altercation.
You okay? Okay. Step. One leg ahead. All right. Stay here and I'll get
Okay, in the raw video footage, it will go on for much longer, but you'll see where the officer recognizes that his camera has come off of his body and they do reattach it. So you'll see that in the raw footage, which is much longer than this right now. I'm now going to play Officer Chappell's body-worn camera video. Again, it's important to note Officer Chappell did not fire his weapon. He was the officer that was stabbed in the vest.
Well, we have him out here. He's got some kind of rock in his hand. For right now. Hey, what you got in your pocket there?
None at all.
Looks like a knife.
It is.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you reach for that knife, I'm gonna shoot you. You understand that? You understand what I'm
You
saying?
can't arrest me. You Mason?
I'm not
You
arresting you.
Mason?
I'm just telling you,
Are
if you
you
reach for
Mason?
that knife, I'm gonna shoot you.
Are you Mason?
You understand that?
Or are you Mason?
No, I'm not a Mason.
Yeah, you are.
Are you?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
I'm Hatumi, so don't even.
So, what's going on with you?
Nothing. She's right there all the time.
5:15, baby. You can cancel it, Tom. For retain 6 right this minute. So, what's going on with you? No, hold up. Hold up. I need to talk to you and find out what's going on. No?
Go ahead, touch me.
No. All right, put your hands behind your back.
No.
Put your hands behind your back.
No.
Put your hands behind your back. Behind your back. About 15 later, shots fired. Start EMS code 3, got a male subject with a gunshot to the head. You alright? Yes. Are you okay? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so at the beginning of that video, I know in Officer Klingerfuss's video, you heard the radio dispatch update them on the second call for service. You don't hear that in Officer Chappell's video. He's wearing an earpiece, so you don't hear that audio, but you see him acknowledge that information on the radio as he's approaching. So he's aware of the updated information and what is being provided by that second 911 caller. And then also at the end of that video, you saw Officer Chappell remove the knife from Mr. McCollum's hand. All of that happened very quickly. We're going to show another video of it slow down a little bit more, so you'll see this a second time.
About 15 later, shots fired. Start EMS code 3, got a male subject with a gunshot to the head. You alright? Yes. Are you okay? Yeah. I think I am. Stand. One ahead.
All right, these are photographs of the knife, one from the scene and one from our crime scene unit office. So it is about a 5.5 inch bladed kitchen knife. Again, just a reminder of our process of how we release body-worn camera footage for incidents like this. So there is a curated video that will be posted on YouTube. We will also share the full unedited raw video for you all to use. The investigative process, so the Public Integrity Unit is the lead on the criminal investigation, and that is ongoing right now. Simultaneously, there is a Professional Standards Unit investigation that will review any policy violations that may have occurred during this incident. The criminal investigation will be turned over to the Office of Commonwealth Attorney for final disposition. The Kentucky State Police also does a investigative review of that case as well. And then that case is also turned over to the Louisville Office of Inspector General upon completion. Per any other critical incident, the officers involved are placed on administrative leave pending the investigation. The chief does have the authority to take immediate disciplinary action if necessary. And then prior to returning to duty, officers do undergo psychological examinations and medical treatment, as well as any updates on training that they may need as a result of this. After this investigation, we will present this case to our Performance Review Board, which will look at the case and see if there's any improvements department-wide that we need to make when it comes to training or policy that could help future similar situations like this to have better outcomes. And then the findings of the criminal and administrative investigations will be made public once they are complete. And at this time, we'll open up for any questions.
Can you tell us more about when stabbing took place? In that video, you said he was stabbed in his vest twice. Check.
Yes.
Yeah. Where in that slowed down scuffle is
right.
that happening?
So again, this happens very quickly.
Yeah.
Also the body-worn camera is you have to understand they're very close to each other. So, but you'll see in the video his hand come around twice. His hand comes around, and it happens very fast. But that's where the knife makes contact with this part of his vest. So.
Is that the part where you're talking, he did the freezes?
Yes.
The circle, so his arm is moving when he did
yes,
the freeze.
and it, yes.
Can you confirm if he is asking the officer, is he racist? Is that what he's asking?
The question was, could we confirm what the Mr. McCollum is asking the officer if he was racist? He asked, sounds like he's asked, "Are you a Mason?" So Mason, and then the officer says no, and Mr. McCollum tells him his first name, that he's a Tume.
Did he live in that apartment, and didn't he know that woman?
Yes, and yes, they were neighbors. They were familiar with each other.
The suspect's mother called us claiming her son had a mental health issue. Can you all confirm that or comment on that?
You know, I don't know his medical history, and I don't have authority to release that information. So I don't know.
Did you all ever take a look at that vest to kind of see where the...
Yes. So the question was, did we ever take a look at the vest to see where the stab mark was? Yes, there is a rub mark on the vest from that. So.
What was your gut reaction when you saw that?
He's very lucky. I mean, that being that close to a knife with that much force that's coming at you, we are very lucky that nobody was injured, and that Officer Chappell was able to go home. And I'm thankful that he was wearing his vest, and that's why we have the vest that we do. And I will say he was also wearing, we do have hard plate vests, and he was wearing a hard plate vest. And so that is important as well. It is an extra layer of protection that we provide our officers. And so I'm glad that he is okay.
Made all the difference in this case.
Absolutely.
Did he live in that area, or any inkling of why he was over there?
He did. Mr. McCollum, did he live in the area? Yes, he lived in that apartment complex.
Anything else? Okay, we'll wrap up.
Thank you all. Have a good day.